Happy winter, everybody. This is Jasmine, and I'm bringing you a cute little festive axolotl today. So I actually have four different axolotl illustrations that I want to share with you guys, but this is just going to be the first one. This one is based on peppermint. I actually thought that I could do all four in one video and release it, and that's just insane. I don't know why I thought that I could do that when this is like a 20-minute video with just one. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy this axolotl spread. I may have a little bit of a problem with axolotls. I may have too many axolotl things. I just have 3 axolotl pillows and an axolotl balloon and an axolotl squirt gun and an axolotl other things. I got a lot of axolotl stuff. I love them so much. So I'm doing this little peppermint guy. I'm going to be doing the painting. I thought I would do the paintings fully in gouache, but then I was like, I could put a base down of the Arrtx markers. Although this one's being a bit weird. This is the first time one of the markers have been really weird. Like it's like really liquidy. It's hard to explain. Almost maybe like it separated a little. So the very first part that went down is a little more pigmented. But when I'm doing peppermint, I don't like to leave it white. I like to go in with like a cream eggshell kind of base, because peppermint tends to be, at least candy canes, a little bit warm toned. Probably from, I don't know, like the sugar maybe slightly caramelizing when it's getting hot. That's neither here nor there, but peppermint, yay! I was gonna say something else and I don't remember, and this is gonna be a rambly video because I'm very sick and I always make rambly videos anyways. But yes, I have 3 more of these axolotls to do, and I love axolotls. Oh yes, that's what I was gonna say. I was inspired also by Carol Lineart here on YouTube. She's one of my favorite creators. Absolutely love her stuff. And she does what she calls little guys when she does a sketchbook page. So that's why I put 2 little guys down in the corner, and they were so fun, and that was really inspiring. So thank you, Carol Lineart, for the inspiration. You will be seeing more of these axolotls later in the month, because I don't want to I don't want to not upload them, even though I couldn't upload them all in one video. And even though this was supposed to be the winter drop, but I got sick and it's just been a lot on my plate, so I didn't end up getting this winter drop done yet. I still want to. So it will still be up, it'll just be really late. So maybe I'll make it go over an extra month. After all, these axolotls, they're Christmas themed, but they don't have to be Christmas. This one's peppermint. and I'm gonna have some other sweet treat ones, but they're also just really cute. So, you know, all year round festive axolotls. Let me know in the comments, guys, what is your favorite holiday? Because I love Christmas, but I've always said my favorite holiday is actually Easter. I love Easter because I love spring, and I love bunnies. And I love the pastel rainbow Easter colors, like everything, and flowers, everything about it, right? Love Easter. But that being said, people decorate more for Christmas and Halloween and stuff. Halloween's definitely not my favorite. I love Halloween, but I mean, I love holidays in general, but but of the big ones, I would say Halloween is not my favorite, but Easter and Christmas, like neck and neck, because the Christmas decorations are so good. They're so pretty. I just love looking at the lights. Where I work, I currently have a bunch of Christmas lights went up, and it's really, really pretty. I wanted to do like a Christmas light themed axolotl, but I was a little bit too intimidated. Maybe sometime. It'd be really easy to do, well, relatively easy to do digitally, but getting the lights theme across on the page without having a dark background, I feel like would be a little tough. I'm sorry if my voice is a little strained today. I just realized that I was getting sick, and I'm so sad because I had my first tabling event scheduled for 2 days from now. I've never tabled anywhere before, but there's a local craft fair. I was gonna table there, and they're excited to have me, and it was free because small craft fair. And then 2 days before it, I get sick, and I don't think I'm gonna be better by the time I don't think I'm gonna be recovered in 2 days, so I'm gonna have to cancel. It's big sad. But I guess there'll always be more. It's just the first one I had ever actually applied to and gotten into. I've applied to like big conventions before and haven't gotten into them, but I've never applied to a small craft fair, and I knew I could probably get into a small craft fair, but I never applied. And now I had, and I can't do it. It's so sad. But enough about that. I'm finally moving on to the gouache portion. I think I've been using the gouache for a little while now, actually. But using the gouache on top was so much fun. When I used the gouache on top of the Arrtx acrylic marker base, I don't mess up the base layer at all because the Arrtx is acrylic and it will not budge with water. So I can blend my gouache as much as I want on top without any worries. Like right there, I went in dark and then I went back with some water and lightened it up, and it was a really, really fun way to use my paints. I like that a lot. It might not always be the best. It might not always work great because maybe I want that full blending or something like that, but I really wanted these stripes to stay in place. And every once in a while, because I do go over them with red gouache, every once in a while they like blend out a little bit, but they're not actually blending out. The underneath is still very solid and a great base where I can just make it look like there's some bounce light or some fading. I decided with the two little guys that I wanted to make them green and red because I love the traditional just red and white candy cane look. That's what I went with the big axolotl. By the way, I know I don't pronounce axolotl the actual way it's supposed to be pronounced, but that's fine because I pronounce it the, you know, more commonly known way that I had for all my life. But yes, the little babies, they're so cute, and I went with like red and green stripes. I was gonna make one of them, I think, entirely green, but I forgot to. Also, this green candy, this green round candy up top, I struggled so hard with both of those little candies, but especially the green one. I cut out some footage where I just kept going over it because for some reason this little tiny round candy was giving me so much issue. I also had to cut out some footage because I put my hand on the paper to like steady the paper when I'm painting like up there in the corner. And 3, I believe, different times when I did that, I was holding the paper down with one finger and it was my middle finger. And so I look back on the footage and I'm like, I am just flipping off the viewer for for like 20 seconds while I'm up here painting, or longer. And so I'd like cut that out. Cause I love you guys. I'm not trying to be out here flipping you off, right? If you guys are interested in this axolotl, or maybe some of the other festive axolotls, I know it's going to be a bit late, but if you keep an eye on my Ko-fi or my Etsy shop, which are both linked in the description down below, I will be eventually listing them as individual stickers and part of a winter bundle with a never before sold print. And if you're interested in any of that, just follow the shop, or bookmark it or whatever. And I guess since this is self-promo time, like and subscribe and all that stuff. I'm terrible at this. I hate it. I mean, I love making videos, which is why I'm making videos. So I guess I don't really need to be like and subscribe every single time, because I'm just making them because I love making videos. But if you want to like and subscribe, anyway. Oh my goodness. Let me know also if you like this format of video. I've tried to do a bit of real-time painting as well as like a lot of sped up painting, but I don't like to do jump cuts very much. I like to see the whole process. And I don't know about you guys, but I just think it's more satisfying when you see everything come together. But I know a lot of people do prefer like the quick jump cuts and stuff. I also did this where I used my phone to capture some video. I can't always do this because sometimes it's like a stream that I am recording, so I don't have extra footage. By the way, I do stream as well, and hopefully in the new year I'll be streaming a lot more. And I will be streaming at least one of these axolotls as I paint it, because I think that'll be really fun. I think it'll be a fun subject matter. I loved making this bow. This was so fun, but it was really complicated. I had to speed this footage up way more than any of the other footage. Not because it took a long time for what it was, but because I sat and contemplated between every single brush stroke. Like, I would just hold the brush there and stare and try and figure out where exactly to put my shadows. I think part of that is because the red went on a little more opaque than I thought it would, so I could not see my lines very well. Luckily, I could see them a little bit. It really starts to pop when I put this dark on, though. I was happy with it before, and I was a little worried right here. I was like, oh goodness, is this messing it up? But it was like the reference photo, and shiny stuff is like that. It's got the really, really dark bits to really make the reflective stand out. And once I got around here, around midway through, I was like, okay, it's starting to form a bow. Also, to make the dark for everything on this page, what I did was I actually mixed red with a little bit of green, because red and green are opposite. So I mixed the red with a little bit of green until it was like a dark gray color, and that's how I got the dark colors for the eyes and stuff. And I did the same thing with the bow, except that it wasn't quite as dark as I wanted, so I did mix a little bit of purple and a little bit of black in there. But I think I kept the richness of the color by starting off with that complementary color mixture. The highlights are almost pure white because I wanted it to look nice and shiny, but I do go in and basically just blend them a little bit to tone them down, because the bow had a little bit of I don't know, like waxy-ish texture. Like, it was shiny, but it was also not as not as specular. Anyways, it was shiny, but it had a weird texture, and I think I got it really well. I really liked it. And at that point I realized I needed some more contrast that's the word, in the other subjects. So I went in with that same dark red color, and I just added some darkness to the red bits, and I also added a tiny bit more green to the same color to make the dark green. I like these little bits that some people do where they show how they're recording the other parts of their video. So like, I had the camera recording there a little bit, and I think that's pretty interesting to see, because I didn't realize that's how a lot of people were getting their side views for a long time. And then I saw that and I was like, I could do that. Although I used to have to prop my phone up in such a weird, like, it was a pain. Like, I'd have like multiple different things holding it up and in place and at the right angle. Now I have this Moft, M-O-F-T, this Moft stand, and it works pretty good, although the angle that I try and get, it still tries to tip over a lot. So I made like a little clay pillar that is just the right height, that is shoved under one end of it so it doesn't tip over. I'm going in with these LePen pens now, or at least I was, just to add a little more detail, and I love that I can blend them out with water. So that's what you saw me doing there. Just added a little bit of water to make the ink lines not quite as intense. And then I thought that the bow needed a shadow, like a little bit of a drop shadow. So I just really watered down that shadow color that I had been using on the bow and used that as a drop shadow. But then I realized everything else should have a drop shadow too, because it would just look nicer that way. So I went around and painstakingly added a drop shadow. It wasn't really hard. I was just nervous because I'm like, what if this ruins it? Of course it didn't. I just made sure to make everything have a consistent shadow too. It doesn't necessarily need to, because this is just a sketchbook page, but I like it looking like it's all coming from the same way. And here it is. He's all finished. This is little Minty, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. It's so cute, and I cannot wait to share the other 3 axolotls with you guys. Are you guys excited for December lotl, or should it be Christmas lotl, Christmalotl, festive lotl? Anyways, I'm all done here, and thank you guys so much for stopping by.